MetaZoo is one of the strangest and most polarizing TCG stories of the past decade. A game that started with grassroots Kickstarter hype and exploded into major retail deals, only to go radio silent just a few years later. But despite the official channels going dark, the game didn't die, and that's what this video is about. Let's start with the obvious. MetaZoo basically vanished in 2024. Product dried up, social channels stopped updating, and communication from the top just disappeared. Most of the TCG world considered it dead. But what you might not know is that there was still activity, still product moving, still players organizing small events, and most importantly, still creators putting out content and keeping the community alive. When trading card games lose its leadership, the player base usually scatters. But MetaZoo is different. This wasn't just another card game, it was a cryptid-themed, lore-driven experience, with fans who hadn't just invested money, but their identity as well. So when the official voices went silent, some community members decided they would be the new voices. This is where things get personal, because the people I'm about to highlight aren't just influencers or sellers. They're fans who keep MetaZoo alive, when it had every reason to fade away. They didn't do it for the money, they did it because they care. Frostbite Labs is the definition of consistency. He keeps MetaZoo in the YouTube algorithm long after most channels gave up. His rip and chill sessions aren't just relaxing, they feel like you're hanging out with a friend. And he's generous too. Giveaways, shoutouts, and always has time to answer comments. On Whatnot, he keeps a steady stream of live shows going. But it's less about the sales and more about building a place where the MetaZoo community still feels just like that, a community. Then there's Zealous TCG. Zealous is your MetaZoo analyst. He's the one noticing small changes in packaging, printing quality, and distribution patterns, among many other things. When the new booster box redesign showed up, he was one of the few people actually breaking down what it could mean. Not just clickbait, not speculations, just thoughtful, clear commentary. He's also posted regular box openings, community engagement videos, and reactions to drops that flew under the radar. He even did Project D.T.A.S, something we'll be responding to at the end of this video. Now, if you're looking for passion, that's KBDX Tokyo. He's been in the TCG world for years and brings that high energy to everything he does. And MetaZoo isn't just another topic on his channel. It's something he's personally invested in. At events like Comic-Con and Collecticon, he hands out custom packs, takes photos with fans, and promotes MetaZoo like it's never went away. Watching his videos feels like rediscovering that new game hype, even in the downtime. And then my buddy Escaped Alien. Escaped Alien might not post on YouTube as often, but on Whatnot, he's a legend. He has over 300 sells, perfect reviews, and themed rip nights that make buying MetaZoo cards fun again. His viewers call him a blessing to the community, and honestly, that tracks. He's generous, thoughtful, and always makes sure that the people watching feel valued. He's also a known collaborator with MetaZoo Crew, helping keeping events alive even when the company behind the game wasn't doing it themselves. These creators don't just upload content. They carried MetaZoo when the official team dropped the ball. They hosted events, kept the vibes alive, and gave the fans something to believe in. For a lot of people, Frostbite, Zealous, KBDX Tokyo, and Escaped Alien are the faces of MetaZoo now. Not because they were hired to be, but because they showed up when no one else did. And as MetaZoo prepares for a comeback under GameCubator Labs, there's a lot of hope, but also a lot of caution. The players who stuck around have earned a say in what happens next, and the creators who stayed loyal, they deserve to be part of that conversation. These are the people who proved they didn't need corporate backing to care about the game. So if you're wondering whether MetaZoo still has life in it, the answer is yes. Not because of a press release or a comeback teaser, but because of a community that never gave up. If you've ever loved MetaZoo, now might be the time to come back. And if you do, Make sure to check out Frostbite Labs, Zealous TCG, KBDX Tokyo, and Escaped Alien. They're the reasons we still have something to come back to, on top of awesome community ran projects such as OpenZoo. OpenZoo is an open source Discord project where the community is coming together to rebalance, rework, and re-release the original sets of MetaZoo on top of finishing the unreleased sets that we never got before the closure of the company. If that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure to check out the description where I'll leave a link to the Discord. Now we're going to move on to a portion where I go ahead and respond to all the questions that were asked by Zealous in his community video, Project Don't Tell a Soul.
Project D.T.A.S is a series of questions. What is your name?
My name is Squilliam TCG, but most of my friends and family call me Squill. I'm a small indie TCG PNG tuber who loves everything card games.
How long have you been collecting MetaZoo?
I've only been collecting MetaZoo for a few months now, but it's always been a game I've always been aware of and kept tabs on, as I'm obsessed with the indie TCG market.
And now that we know how long they've been around, let's see what their top 3 favorite cryptids are.
It's definitely a hard toss-up between Bigfoot, as I've always been obsessed with Bigfoot since a kid. I even used to have a nickname of Bigfoot, the Grim Reaper, because I like the dark and the occult, and then the Mad Gasser of Matt Toon, as it's a really funny story and one of my local cryptids. And they all just kind of scratch a different itch I have.
I was also curious which cryptids they would love to see return to MetaZoo.
Loveland Frogman, because I think that he had some of the best art from OG Zoo, or a Mad Gasser of Matt Toon, because I want to see people's artistic takes on that card, and just more of the dark stuff make a return in MetaZoo.
Then I got to wondering how they felt whenever the old MetaZoo management announced that they were closing down.
I honestly didn't have much of any feelings besides feeling bad for the community that spent so much time and effort to create such a great community, and that really enjoyed the game. The closure just kind of felt like a shaft to those people.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I wonder, who do you rip packs with?
I rip packs with tons of friends and family from different games. I also host a series called What's in the Pack, where I open and rip packs here on YouTube, but I specifically rip MetaZoo with my wives and my children as a fun pastime.
So if they're ripping packs, they gotta have cards. I was curious who had played MetaZoo, or who actually plans on playing MetaZoo.
Yes, I actually just recently started playing with one of my wives, and we absolutely love it. The game is full of so many funny and interesting moments as you play, but I also couldn't imagine trying to play Old Zoo in a competitive setting at all. We also have interest in learning to play New Zoo, even if it's an entirely different game from Old Zoo and just using the name.
I was curious what their favorite set has been so far.
It's a hard tie between Wilderness and Seance. I love all the forest theming and chibis in Wilderness, but I also just love the dark and occult feeling of Seance, like I've already mentioned before.
And in my personal opinion, I think that this is probably the biggest question of them all. What is MetaZoo to you?
MetaZoo is a lot of things to me. It's a cautionary tale of don't fall for hype trains and to not put up with community mistreatment. But MetaZoo also means community, laughter, and fun. MetaZoo is a shining beacon that the TCG industry is not about corporate companies making money, but about building and creating tight communities and everlasting bonds. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for sticking around and watching the whole video. And until next time, have a great day.